Hello, welcome back to Geekified. Me and Ryan here, back to talk just a lot of absolute nonsense about film, TV, Marvel, everything that's coming up, and just whatever we want to talk about, pretty much. We've got a couple of random things that we want to discuss today. Obviously, seen our first kind of episode back last week, discussing a wee bit of AI. If you want to go back and have a wee look at that, and then talking about some of the upcoming blockbusters. So. We're going to start and just get just hit some chat and see what is on Ryan's mind this week. Ryan, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. Don't want to find out what's on my mind this week. Let's just keep it on the one path, like, because that's just a nightmare of horrors and all.
Yeah,
We'll keep
I've
on
seen
this
what
path. And
I've seen into Ryan's mind. It's a dark spiraling dungeon.
no, it's not just the missing tooth that makes me look psychotic. Then I
And you know what?
just,
I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice. You
oh,
can't see it.
I'll be fixed. It'll be fixed by October. It was for anybody watching this. I had a break. I had a fracture in my tooth. I was in getting stuff done to my teeth. I was getting like a small whitening. Dentist caught it and was like, "You've got a fracture in your tooth. We need to remove that." Turns out I get punched or hit in the face at one point when I was younger. I don't know which one because there's been a lot. I've got an idea. I can think what one it was. Shout out to Sass, but I don't know. It was a night when I get hit with a lot of bottles in the face.
Oh, okay.
But and apparently it can get worse and worse, and it was like a fractured tooth, so I had to
Listen,
remove
I'm
it.
on good authority. It was your ma. So let's just move on.
She knew all about it. She was terrified at the time, but it's all good. No, everybody's all good. We all love each other.
Oh
But
yeah. Right. So the first thing I want to talk about is we briefly touched on it last week is Hollywood done? Is this is the rise of the YouTube era? Because everything just seems to be coming out of YouTube now. So obviously we discussed Iron Lung last week. We talked a wee bit about that, and then obviously this week we just had an absolutely roving success of Backrooms, which is doing extremely well. Still not had a chance to go and see it. I really want to go and see it. It does look good, but I'll tell you one thing: I know absolutely sweet FA about it. I don't know anything about it. So I know I've watched the trailer, I've seen a couple of bits, I don't know where it came from, I don't know who did it. I just know of the success story of this wee guy and well done because he's made like 100 something million
well,
already.
I know quite a bit about the back rooms, not the film itself, but
Aye.
because I'm a big internet nerd, I remember when, and I love all my horror stuff and listen to creepypastas and all that kind of thing. The back rooms is an awesome concept, a very, very creepy concept, and I'm very glad that it's been put on screen, especially by the guy who didn't create it
Hmm.
but made it big. The guy that made it, he made the series, but there's got to be someone, sorry, out there absolutely kicking themselves because the Backrooms concept get made by a 4chan post. It was
I read this, yeah.
somebody posted this thing. I can't remember explicitly what it is. Maybe we can find it, but it was like it said be careful, something like be careful what you're doing because at the wrong place, the wrong time, or whatever, you can no clip out of reality and find yourself in the back rooms. This place that's like all loads of mundane, boring like office blocks with a slight buzz and a kind of moist floor and just something that sounds horrible, but forever and ever. And you don't know, and there's something coming after you. Okay. That was like a paragraph of a
Aye.
post, right? That then blew up to other people adding their other lore into it and people adding the lore and lore into it. Then this guy got a hold of it and started making a series of it, started making like CGI before the AI. He wasn't just typing it in as a prompt, he was actually making it. He made like a CGI kind of series of it of the guys now quite recognizable of in the yellow and black kind of hazmat suits doing it. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, my knowledge is spotty on this at best, but he started making that, and it's him that's now making the film,
Right.
right? But there's got to be some lone dude out there that's raging because they come up with the idea and posted it in full chat, and now it's
Yeah,
like, do
I
you know what I
know.
mean?
He must be like, I shouldn't have said anything. Absolutely
Right?
fucking fuming. But yeah, right. So how is this the new Hollywood though? You know what I mean? It's like they're now making every single thing. Do we now have IP fatigue? Because we've now got He-Man that's came out. He-Man's came out this week. I'm an 80s kid. I was brought up on the old cartoon. I absolutely loved it. Still not waiting to see it. I definitely will go and see this, but it's not getting the best reviews. It's somewhere sitting in the middle.
I actually heard the opposite. I heard it getting from someone we were just talking about for the wee preview bit, and we're talking about, one of those, I'll not say his name, but one of those, I do like him, but one of
Yeah.
those YouTubers who these days has relied a bit more on negativity, right?
Mm.
He's released a review who's, I'm not saying his name, fucking critical drinker. Why am I saying, like, I
I
don't
know,
know why
like
I'm being a bitch. I'm just trying to be super,
Ryan's
like,
getting
careful, but I mean,
NDAs from other
I
YouTubers.
know, I know, like, the critical drinkers released a thing on saying about how much he likes, but was surprised by He-Man, right?
Oh, right, okay.
I've not watched it myself, but you can tell by the title and stuff like that. I like Critical Drinker. I really do. I watch most of these stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think that for a while they got on a bit too much of a negative hate train of like everything sucks, everything sucks,
I know
everything
that's the
sucks.
thing is that's why I loved him. I loved everything he does. I love his opinions. I love his delivery. I love the guy that he is. And it's the same with like Nerdrotic and Disparu and all that as well.
Yeah,
They're all great, but sometimes like I'm watching, I'm like, oh, wasn't he that bad, man?
dude, right? Not like so. For anybody that's watched our previous podcast or anybody that
Yeah,
knows me, they know a big thorn in my side and a big thing I always get on about is scenes with women where especially where they've got them knocking out like 6'5" Russian dudes with an uppercut where like when they're 5'2" and weigh about 100 pounds soaking wet. I have complained about this so many times,
yeah.
right? I understand. But I was watching a review of Daredevil, the new Daredevil series by Nerdrotic and stuff, and Nerdrotic was getting on specifically this bit because Karen has one scene where she takes a SWAT guy from behind, hey, but like takes a SWAT guy and like gets him off guard and kind of knocks him out, takes his gun from him, and smacks him with the gun and knocks him out, right? That when I watched it, I kind of thought, oh, that's good, but it did not bother me because it's been set up in Daredevil when they're hiding out that Daredevil is teaching her
Ah,
all the
being
time. You know
trained.
what I
She's
mean?
trained the whole time.
He's training her, he's training her, he's training her. Also, she didn't uppercut and knock him off his feet. She got him by surprise, took his gun and boom, knocked him out. And it was one scene that lasted about zero point 0.5 of a second. And Nerdrotic and that were kind of hung up on this and calling it woke Daredevil and all that because of this. And I'm like,
No,
hold on. I'm the
no.
biggest guy. Like, I will shout this shit for the rooftops, but you're really splitting hairs here. Do you
Right,
know what I mean?
see the
Because
way I see it, right? Like they were always talking about Scarlett Johansson's about fucking 4'11" with her fucking horns in the air jumping. Right? She's teeny and she's throwing people about as Black Widow. Right? You've also got a purple guy that's came from space with a fucking chin like a boss
no,
hat.
no,
You
sorry,
know what
we
I mean?
disagree about this. We disagree about this. This is what I do not like that argument, and I'll tell you why, right?
Right.
Because the whole idea of, well, because I think we hear this argument too much. Well, if you've got a big, purple guy coming from space, or you've got a guy that shoots laser beams at out his eyes, then that'd be weird as fuck. How do you name that? But
That's definitely a
like,
boy's character, but didn't he?
no, it really is. And that's why, in fact, they built his dick probably because the boys would need to go pure extra weird with it.
Right.
But that's got like we can get to that in a bit, but you've still not seen the boys. But it's about internal logic, right? If you start a story where the sky is pink and the grass is non-existent and leprechauns fly through the air hanging off fucking sheep, that is fine, but you need to stick within that internal consistency, right? So the big purple guy from space kind of thing doesn't get me because the consistency of that was made over 17 years almost, or 17 not years, films, right? When you then break the internal logic and consistency, which the boys show did a lot within the last episodes, that really fried my brain, then we have a problem. Because any fiction story, you need to set your stories, you set your universe. Do you know what I mean? For Lord of the Rings kind of thing. Nobody's saying, well, you've got elves and goblins and blah blah. It's like, yeah, but you don't suddenly in Lord of the Rings have Thanos coming down in a spaceship because that would be breaking the internal logic. Do you know what I mean? That like
Yeah.
um so it's like I don't agree with that. Where I do agree with you, but Black Widow, especially in like the earlier films like the Avengers and stuff, right? You can suspend your disbelief. She doesn't. You don't need to be like, oh, every women character has to get beat up by men because that's what would happen. but at least play into it, like the way the fighting happens. Instead of her choke slamming people, which is completely disbelievable, have her doing, Hurricane Ranas and using her, like, which she does in the
Yeah,
Avengers. Like she does that move, the Hurricane Rana, which is like using your legs to like flip them over and stuff like that.
yeah,
And she uses her womanly ways to pretend I'm a wee innocent thing and then
yeah.
get them.
But I
Like,
get that she's a woman who's
and
been
which
trained as a spy all her life.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
that totally we're in the realm. It's the same realm of disbelief that a guy with arrows, but is really good with arrows, can fight gods and monsters.
yeah.
But it's still within that logic, it's still within that thing. Do you know what I mean? What gets me is, as I said before, is when it's like a thing like knocking some guy out or bam, 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 and I'm like, but they're not a superhero. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one of my favorite TV shows of my whole entire life. My mum even disagrees with me with this because she always thought Buffy was too small and petite to be punching guys about.
I'm
And
sorry,
I said no
I just
because
need
she's
to
a
say just
slayer.
I just need to say for 1 second, rest in peace, Anthony Heads. He passed away today.
Oh, yes. In fact,
You know, absolute
I heard
legend
about
is
that just before this
Giles.
podcast.
Let me
Yes.
drink to you. It's one of the
That
best.
hurt, dude.
I
That
know one
actually
of the
hurt
best
that
actors
one.
ever, and not even in the
Really, though.
not even in the Buffy life. Like as an actor in general,
He was
phenomenal.
in Little Britain. He's more Buffy for me, I will be honest,
Oh
but he
yeah,
was
yeah,
in
yeah.
Little
But
Britain. He
thank
was
you
in
for your
loads of
service,
things.
good sir. You entertained me a hell of a lot over the years.
Fantastic singer as
Yeah,
well.
he's so sorely missed. But yeah.
I
No, no.
still, like, I still listen to the Buffy musical on my Spotify, right? Because I'm that, kind of guy. But like, he's an amazing singer. His renditions on that album and stuff like that, he's real amazing as well. So sorely missed. That was a tough one.
Yeah. It doesn't hide away for your shite point, no. But so the whole
So get back to the shape point. How do you?
I just like see when go to watch a movie, right? I go to watch a movie. Right. The only thing that I ever complain about a film was when the story's shite. See, obviously, the amount of stuff that we've had for so long where the story's been absolutely garbage and you've got a shite actor because they had to shoehorn somebody in for a specific reason. I'm not going to go into all that right now, but like you shoehorn hundreds of people in, shoehorn bad writers in just to make sure you tick a box. That's when movies go down. See if the movie is about a lassie who'd kicks shit at somebody and like I'm like that. I'm watching a film. You know what I mean? It's fantasy. It's not real. And that's why it's like I like to suspend my belief when I go into films. It's only when it is like ridiculously out of order.
I agree with you there, but what I mean is you need to set with every film, you set your internal consistency, you set your universe, right? So, as I said, for Buffy, right, my mother, who's a feminist growing up and stuff like that, not anymore, but she was feminist and stuff, she would say she didn't like the idea that this 5'1" blonde chick was knocking out guys. But I would say, but she's a slayer,
Yeah,
right? The internal consistency of Buffy is she is a superhero. So she is super strength. She is Slayer strength. She's
yeah,
like so when this tiny wee lassie is knocking big demons about, that made sense in my head
yeah,
because she's a Slayer.
yeah.
She's got
The whole point.
superpowers, right?
Yeah,
Even in my head, I know I get too far with it, but I would even think so. Maybe her muscle fibers are like really close together and stuff like that. Like she's got that. Do you know what I mean? Because she's a Slayer, so that's fine. That never bothered me. Do you know what I mean? It's not about them being small female. It's about your internal consistency. When you put a film, for instance, and you say, "Here's this. We're in the normal world. We're in our reality, and here's this normal chick who just, or like something happened to her yesterday, or became a spy, or something like that, and now she's 5'2", knocking guys out and they're flying off their feet." I'm like, no, that's not how physics work. That's not how, anything would work that way. When you play about with that and you have her like get from behind, choke him out, do something, I'm like, all right, okay, we can go with that. Because but don't, it's the same. I've said this before a million times on the podcast. It's the same way as if it's not even about male and female. If you had a 4'11" guy, a 5 feet guy, knocking out a guy as big as a Big Show, it's not going to work for my head either. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
No,
When I used to watch the wrestling and you had Rey Mysterio is 5'3" fighting the Big Show, even though the wrestling's kind of fake technically, he
what?
wasn't choke slamming the Big Show. No, I know, don't. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Technically, I said it's
next
real to
you'll be
me,
saying
God damn it!
Santa's no real.
It's real to me, God damn it!
Don't ruin my day.
But
I
the
do
point
get
is
right.
even in that thing, Rey Mysterio isn't choke slamming the Big Show. He's jumping about and Hurricane Rana and jumping. Do you know what I mean?
I completely get where you're
There
coming
has to
from, but it
there,
see
there
that see
ha
the movies and the TV shows where you do get that sort of level of disparity from a woman's size to a guy's size, and a woman who's not trained or not skilled or whatever, do it, throwing all that stuff out. Doesn't happen that often, and usually it is shite. You know what I mean? It's like usually it is a crap show, usually it is a garbage show.
I think it happens more than I think, and not even I think it happens more than we give credit for it. Granted, it's happening less and less these days
Hmm.
because we're in 2026 now. But from the time of say 2014, 15 to be honest, even all through the 90s, but but if we want to get where it became really apparent, like there's a lot of it,
Right,
right?
okay, like I will give you a due, like it's like Christ, any recent Kate Beckinsale film, you know what I mean? Like that's
Mhm.
absolute garbage. I mean, in some of those films that
But
she's made,
again, Underworld, where she's a vampire,
different.
fine.
Yeah, I
Like,
get that different internal logic. You know what I mean? And also she has that suit on, so hey, I'm all right with that. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, but like all the last movies where she's like an assassin and stuff like that, and then like she's there's a lot of fighting in that, and it's just shite. You know what I mean? It doesn't match. But again, I'll just sit and enjoy the film because I know it's ridiculous. When is it? When is
but
one
you
assassin going
said
to
about the
have
story though.
650 guys chase her down trying to kill her? You know what I mean? It's not real.
But you said about the story that it affects you more when the story's not good. And I agree. But do you not think the two are in tandem? Because the story can't be sold to you if the world is inconsistent.
Mm,
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if the world is inconsistent, then the story may as well not matter.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
I'll give
like,
you a 75-25 then. I'll say yeah that yeah.
oh, really? Oh, that's so generous. I mean,
Yeah.
we're definitely 80-20 my favour, but
Listen,
where
next couple of
we
episodes,
can
just
see
keep wanting
in
it into
fact
me
if
and we'll
anybody
see.
watches this new one, please argue about it in the comments.
I know. I
We'll
wanted
put our
this.
things.
Call me whatever you
But
like.
my point is even though I stick by this 100%, I do think the thing that put my kind of ankles up is when I seen Nerdrotic making this point of Daredevil, right? Where it was literally one scene. And this is my kind of point, is it
Yeah.
my internal consistency. If it didn't bother me because you'd set it up with Matt Murdock training her, right? You didn't need to labour the point, but you show enough scenes where he's training her,
And you
and
did.
then the
We showed
scene
a
that
lot.
she, yeah, but then the scene that she done her fighting bit, she didn't take out a room full of guys.
Yeah.
She didn't go, "Come on, then, fellas," and like knock them all out. She jumped one guy from behind, took his gun, and knocked him out.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm like,
know.
okay, okay. Do
I
you know
think
what I
this
mean?
this we've literally turned this segment into discussing other YouTubers. But do you know what?
That's what
It's
it is.
factually correct. We're just discussing how they talk about things, and we're talking about stuff as well.
Mhm.
But I completely and utterly get it. Like, I think like sometimes like they have been really harsh on a lot of TV shows and a lot of stuff. But it's not to say that I don't watch them, and I don't dislike them because I still go and watch them, even though I disagree with some of their takes. And I think that's right. But I think
Yeah,
the
I do too. I watched the rest of the boys, even though it basically told me it hated me since season three. So
yeah
I was like, right, okay, I'll watch you anyway because I like the characters, I like what's going on. But I mean, but you know, the boys did take such a political turn, and you must have seen it yourself. Like, you don't need to be of my persuasion to have been like, come on now. Do you know what I
yeah
mean? Because it started from you know, it, the point that lost me, it wasn't even about politics. The point that lost me so much when it started referencing stuff that's happening in the news right now
yeah
all the time. Even stuff that I thought was like, I agreed with or not, or disagreed, whatever. But like, this isn't ruining anything, I don't think. But in one of the episodes, like, you've seen enough to know who Sage is, don't you?
oh yeah of course I'm well into that
Yeah. In one of the episodes, Sage makes this comment where she goes, then he's deader than Epstein in between a guard shift. He's deader than Epstein in between a guard shift, right? And I'm like, all right. So in this world, Epstein happened.
yeah
Wasn't the whole setup for this world that all the Epsteins and all the Hollywood were superheroes? So
oh
who
yeah
was
yeah
Epstein
yeah
a soup then? Was how did Epstein happen in this world?
yeah
Because if in the world where humans are basically bullshit to the soups and stuff like that, and the soups are all the Hollywood, how the fuck did Epstein exist?
must have been a soup.
But was it Epstein? This is my point. Again, internal logic blown out because you wanted to make a joke. to relevant to today. That to me is crazy, and they've done it so many times, referencing stuff. They reference people who are on the TV. They reference news. They reference, and I'm like, hold on. But your president is someone different. Your thing's different. You've got soups. You've got that. How does that work in your universe? It would
Yeah,
be like Invincible, which is clearly, obviously set in a different reality.
yeah,
To start mentioning Henry Novak getting killed or Trump being president. It's like, hold on. How did that happen in this world?
yeah. I know. I don't like I said, the boys did take a bit of a turn, probably from the season before. Like it was, they were starting to get a wee bit more realistically interpreting what's happening in politics, and then kind of phasing it into what they're talking about. Whereas the story was already good just anyway. I mean, like you only had to read the comics. Just you didn't need
And
to
you
do
can
anything
be
else.
subtle.
Yeah, you didn't
What
need to say
happened to
anything.
subtlety? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to make Homelander a Trump parody. You can just go with him and you can throw your slight like, oh, I feel this is this, throw this in the way. Because they had a couple of things that really hit the mark that were really good satires of Trump. But then they just really went into were just a Trump parody. And it's
Yeah,
like, come
but
on, man. Do you know
this
what I mean?
brings me
Like,
back. Sorry.
you
Just saying, this brings us back to the whole point. Is like, is Hollywood dead because of all stuff like this? Is Hollywood now struggling because they don't tell stories anymore? They literally take a story and then cement their own message into it to make it something that they want to present from their own political opinion. Whereas you've got people like they're just creating good content now. I mean, Iron Lung with
yeah,
Markiplier, Obsession, which has come out and done absolutely mentally.
yeah.
You've got Backrooms, which came from a story. There's no political message in any of them.
No, exactly. And the thing is even myself, who I can see even a few years ago was quite too, and I still have my own like views on that, but I was too in the trenches, kind of the same as Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and that. I've been like this, and all that. There's some stuff I've went back and watched and be like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. There's some stuff that was like Thor: Love and Thunder and stuff, but there's some stuff that was like
Dude,
actually
that
that
was
was all right.
terrible. Terrible,
Yeah,
terrible film.
but here's a surprise: I enjoyed the Marvels a lot more than I thought I would. Do you know what I mean?
Dude,
There's
so
some
did
bits that
I.
were ridiculous, but I liked most of it. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? So there's things that, but like when you don't try and hate watch something, but also doing that with the rest of your life, when you don't try and scroll and hate, when you don't try and, but the there's some things that are just evident and get it. Anyway, my point is, what was my bloody point that I had this? What I'm saying is, even when you take away the politics without the bias, or me saying, I don't want this in my films anymore, now, I think people in a general concept are just sick of it. Like, I know it's not because I want to see the things I believe on portrayed on screen. As you said, I want none of it on
Hmm?
screen. I want the worlds and the universes we build, and this is one of the reasons I love Invincible so much because
See?
it's like it really sticks to just its own universe and its own internal and like there is, yeah. I don't want to see Democrats roasted in a film or a TV show. I think that's cringe as fuck. I just want to have good stories. Do you know
That's
what I
all
mean?
we
I just
want.
want to have good. And with the internal consistency I'm talking about, because that's something that's always bothered me since a child. Like I've been always nitpicky about that. I would watch things and go, "How does that work?" If he said that, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I just think that as you said about these YouTubers and that come up and that, I think this was a natural inevitability that was going to happen about YouTubers and that coming up and being the next filmmakers. Um, I think it's something we even discussed way back was about losing that kind of $50 million film. Do you know what I mean? Like you would get for a while there, we only had massive films or indie films. We never really
Yeah,
had that in between. Just take a chance on a film that we had in the 90s, where you would get some
yeah.
just weird ass film, but it'd be backed by a big studio. Um, I think we're getting back there, and
But you get, I
I
mean,
think it's awesome.
it's awesome. But I mean, like the people who are the weird kids of cinema now is A24. A24, but
Yeah.
I mean, like they're taking those stories and producing them. But is it going to end up that A24 becomes kind of a new Hollywood? They're going to start to take all the budget. They're going to start
I think
making
it
all the
already.
films.
I think we're already kind of there. Not there, but I think A24 is already a. Is it noun? Is it noun? Because you can say it's an A24 film and it's not
Yeah.
even an A24 film. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
But like A24 is bigger than, well, probably not anymore, but what these YouTubers started to have, especially Iron Lung and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the backing of that. So A24 is already skyrocketed to be this kind of like benchmark. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Whereas now we've got these young YouTubers and stuff like that coming up. We've got Iron Lung, we've got the guy that's came out with Obsession and the one with Backrooms all at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, you know the stuff we do elsewhere with all our cast and all that. I was speaking to the people involved in that, and I was saying, look, like this is the time where like every producer worth their salt is going to be saying, I want my YouTuber, I want my guy that is going to be breakout. So yeah, I think a lot of things are going to start taking more. They need to, as businessmen, they need to look at right. This film spent this, made this, when and this is the double-edged sword bit coming that I'm not happy about.
Yeah.
Is it might mean the death of a lot of the films we love, the Marvel ones and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, sorry, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. just made a statement with the Russo brothers just the other day. I can't remember it word for word. It's not exactly as he said it, but he basically, the way it was worded, or even if I can find the clip, I'll put it up. It was worded
Hmm.
as if it was an apology for getting the last while wrong, and we're going to course correct.
Right.
And it wasn't exactly how it was worded, but that's what I picked up from it, and that's pretty much what he
I
said.
think they're saying that with their whole thing. Can you continue for one second? I need to grab a juice just so that I
Yeah.
can still hear you.
That's pretty much what I believe is happened now. I think they now know, and I think that a lot of Hollywood, we're still not getting it right. There's still a lot of movies out there. Again, like I've always said, it was like, but a lot of these problems came from like a lot of it kind of diversity hires, and it's not that. And I think we said this in the last podcast. What they're doing is shoehorning somebody who's not good enough to do the job into a position. The quality is not good. You therefore get a bad product. So they're saying like, well, how do we make that equal? I says you don't just give them the job, train them properly. You spend the money that you
Yeah.
would have given them college degrees, given training into film, training into writing. That's how you get these people into the positions. We're now starting to learn that, right? Just flinging them in these job roles hasn't worked. It's not worked.
Or you hire talent for
Yeah,
the
but that's the
get
thing
go.
is like
You
it's not
hire,
about, that's not higher talent. They were looking to tick a box and that's it. And it says and that's
yeah,
the
but
kind of
that's
message
yeah.
that's the message Hollywood was giving out, which is we have to tick these boxes, we have to get everything right. And it says about
So do you
now
remember
doing
what
that.
that? I mean, the gist of that thing that Robbie Downey Jr. and stuff was saying about the next film coming out because it ties into something else. So I'm just wondering, do you remember what the gist of it was about their apology?
It was basically saying how Doomsday is they can't stand on the shoulders of the two giants that is Infinity War and Endgame. He says it has to be its own thing, and he said I think he was almost apologizing for like the last few films, saying that well they were not good enough, they're kind of course correcting. They know what they have to do. Basically, I think is what
Well,
I got for it.
the last time we were podcasting a few years ago, I was speaking about this because Bob Iger, I think it's Bob Iger that's still in
Mm,
charge. I'm not sure because hands have changed quite a lot on Disney and stuff like that now, bit of the Marvel side. But I don't mean with Kevin Feige, I mean like behind him kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That
yeah,
because I think it was Bob Iger. I can't remember, but Bob Iger had come out at the time and said we need to start making money again,
yeah,
right? You also had people like Chris Hemsworth saying he did not want to do another Thor film after the ridiculous thing that was Thor: Love and Thunder, but things like this, and obviously all the kickback about what they made Marvel. I think within the whole of Disney, because Disney has Star Wars and all that as well, I think the people in charge of Marvel realized a couple of years ago this isn't working. We need to. We really need to course correct. I think Star Wars are still fucking up for some reason. They just released the Mandalorian film, which is the most not like just a film like why that's another conversation but
well, that's a,
like
that's a that's a full episode, mate, discussing
it's a
what the
TV special, it's a
what
TV like
what are they?
do you know
I
what I mean?
don't.
I don't know it's can you I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I remember when a Star Wars film was an event.
Oh yeah, dude, it used to be a big go-to. The minute one came out, and then after the sequels that came out, the last set of sequels, the ones, the terrible ones, well, after
Dude,
they
I
came
was
out,
in Madrid visiting a friend when the prequels were coming out, the first one, and it was boom, boom, boom everywhere. Like, oh, it was a thing. Now it's like anyway, we'll get that's another thing we can talk about.
yeah,
I'm sure
Star
my
Wars.
nephew would love me to talk about it. But the thing I'm saying is the is I think the people in charge of Marvel have noticed because that apology, the reason I'm interested in it, is if you look at the teasers for Doomsday, they seem like apologies themselves.
Mm.
Look at what the teasers represent, right? Have you seen the teasers
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
for Doomsday? We get Captain
Thor,
America,
Cap,
right?
the
What's Captain
Wakandans.
America doing in that teaser?
He was putting his kid to bed and looking at his old costume.
He's being a father,
Yeah,
strong masculine figure,
yeah.
right? What's Thor doing in his one?
Apologizing, saying and wants to be a dad to his daughter and want to survive.
Being a strong masculine father going to battle
Mm.
saying, give me back strength for one more battle. Much different to the Thor we've seen for the last one, right? The Wakanda one is a bit different because I think that's just kind of showing in the thing and that. There's I
I know,
don't
but
know
I get
not
where you're going with that because the Wakandans
Mhm.
one, what is that showing? That's showing leadership. That's
Well, there
showing
you go. There you okay.
it's showing that one is literally showing that you need to work together and be a leader. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Because
about
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So it's
And I think that's the three of them,
yeah.
right? So, oh, sorry, the best one, the X-Men one,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right? And then you've got Magneto and Xavier saying, "Old friend," like
yeah,
that, to each other, talking about this big monologue about what it means to how you leave your legacy.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. And
You
then
know, and it doesn't matter if you stumble before, other things Xavier said before, like it
I said
all
if I
speaks
haven't.
to.
So yeah, like the whole stuff with those teasers, I completely get that. That is like they're showing it, but it says, but that clip, honestly, you need to watch that clip. That clip literally is almost it's basically like an apology for how crap it's been for a while, and basically saying that the last two, obviously the big Avengers movies, were giants and they can't stand on the shoulders of them. It says they have to be their own thing, and they also did mention another bit just before we kind of finish up is that we said that you probably don't have to do your homework for these new ones. He says you shouldn't. They don't want people to have to come in and know the full story of Captain America and know the full story of all the legacy characters. You're just going to come in and it's just going to be the Avengers meeting up. How are they going to do that? That's my
Well, it's a
question.
direct sequel to Endgame, apparently, as I've kind of
Well,
said.
it's a
Like it's
direct
a
sequel, but it says there's not going to be homework. Basically, is kind of the way they put
yeah.
it, which I think is interesting because like surely they need to kind of reference stuff. Like I get like you can
I think
reference
they'll
it.
reference. I think things will be tight, but I think I know what they're saying. It's the Russell brothers. Like I think if they're going to pull off what they did with Infinity War and Endgame, I think I'm excited for Doomsday. I'm so excited for Doomsday with
Yeah.
everything that it's made me. It's even more excited than some of the friends I've got that are actual full comic enthusiasts and stuff like that for
Uh,
Doomsday. And I've heard Brand New Day apparently could be. I was saying this to you thing about how again don't know if this is entirely true because I heard it off a blurb, but Holland had some say, like was working on with Christopher Nolan. Apparently, filming was either after at the same time as Spider-Man, and had some say into saying like, this is how we need to film. We can't be filming anymore with no script and finding out what's happening on the day and all that kind of thing. The way that things have been filmed recently with Marvel, we need to have a through line of what's going on each day by day. We need to characters need to have motivations. We need to know what to do, all that kind of thing. And apparently from some insiders come forward from this thing saying that that is translated into the brand new day film being a lot more coherent and actually a good character study of people about Spider-Man and hopefully Punisher and stuff like that rather than an actual good film.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But
Plus we've got
what we will do.
Punisher, Hulk and Spider-Man. So
Yeah,
we've
but
got.
what we will do is we'll do an episode where we'll just talk about Spider-Man because I think there's a lot. I think we could sit
Mhm.
down for easily a good half an hour, and just discuss everything that's coming up in Brand New Day before it comes out in July. So
And in that episode, we can both finish off with Spider Noir and discuss Nicolas Cage's Spider Noir as well.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah. Oh, definitely
I'm
we'll cover that as well.
5 episodes through that, and it is very enjoyable. It is very enjoyable. It's it's not the craziest story ever, but it's I'm enjoying a lot, especially the black and white version.
Yeah, I know. I've not started it. I'm probably going to start it tomorrow night. I still don't know what to start it with. Do I go with color or do I go black and white?
I would say black and white, dude. It's obviously meant to have been filmed in black and white. I think
Yeah.
colours there are just for the people that can't be bothered to watch it in black. But the colour version is even true hue. It's not actually just colour. It's been done especially in that way of when they used to make color versions of black and white, and it was very exaggerated colors.
Yeah,
So it's still a good watch, but there's some shots in it that I've noticed with that it's meant to be black and white.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When like the way it's the lights and the blacks are hitting off each other. Do you know what I mean? It's meant to be in black and white.
But there you go. You got the next couple of episodes going to come up. We're definitely going to do a wee bit on Spider-Man, brand new day, talk about that. Like a probably a whole episode on that, and then obviously pick up in the whole Spider universe and see what's all going on that. But I think we started saying we had a few topics, and we literally just rambled for half an hour.
We did, but that's what we usually do, man. I had a
That's
few
what we
questions
do.
for you as well. We've totally went off the game, but that's what we do.
But yeah, we're going to have, don't worry. It says we're not going anywhere. We're going to be doing a lot more episodes and getting stuff out and talking a lot of shite with each other. And yeah, anything else you want to say before we wrap up this ep?
No, man, it's just happy to be back. I know we'll be getting the ranting on and stuff, but that's, as I said, that's what we do. That's what we're good at. But I'm just looking forward to everything that's coming out in 2026 and, and looking forward to be back on gibbering a lot
Yeah,
of shit with you.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. Next episode, we're more than likely going to be Spider-Man centric, and why not? Well, thanks very much, man. And we'll catch up with you next week. Can do
Much
this
love,
all day.
brother.